In the summer of 1939, a 22-year-old kid with $8 in his pocket stood at the edge of a runway in Los Angeles and made a decision that would eventually make him one of the wealthiest men in American history. He had no college degree, no family connections, no safety net of any kind. What he had was a pilot's license he had taught himself to earn, a borrowed plane, and a single contract to fly military personnel between Los Angeles and San Francisco for $5 a seat. His name was Kirk Kerkorian, and the bet he made that summer was not $500. It was 500 hours of his life, flying through fog and mechanical failures and the kind of risk that kills young men who are not careful, until he had saved enough money to make his first real move. Most people have never heard his name, and that is precisely the point. The men who build the largest fortunes in American history are rarely the loudest ones in the room. They are the ones who learn one thing, master it completely, and then use that mastery to enter a completely different game and win that one too. Kirk Kerkorian did this 4 times, in 4 completely different industries, starting with almost nothing, each time bigger than the last. This is how he did it. In 1944, Kerkorian was flying bombers across the Atlantic for the Royal Air Force. The route was called the Montreal Run, one of the most dangerous civilian contracts in the war. Pilots died on it regularly. The pay was extraordinary precisely because the risk was extraordinary. Kerkorian flew it 33 times. By the end of the war, he had saved enough money to do something that almost no one in his position would have considered. Instead of buying a house, or starting a safe small business, or doing anything that made ordinary sense, he bought a small flight school in Los Angeles for $150,000. This was not sentimentality. This was calculation. He had seen, during the war, that civilian air travel was about to explode. The infrastructure was being built. The pilots were being trained. The appetite for fast, long-distance travel was real and growing. He did not need a business degree to see it. He needed to have been paying attention. He ran the flight school for 3 years, built it into a profitable operation, and then sold it for a price that gave him enough capital to make his second move. He bought a small regional airline. Then he sold that too, at exactly the right moment, for $15 million. At this point, Kirk Kerkorian was worth more money than most people earn in 10 lifetimes. He was also completely unknown. He lived modestly. He did not seek press coverage. He did not build a personal brand. He simply watched, waited, and identified the next game worth playing. In 1962, he looked at Las Vegas and saw something that almost no one else was seeing clearly yet. Las Vegas in 1962 was not the city it is today. It was a collection of mid-sized casinos owned mostly by organized crime, operated with contempt for the customer, and largely ignored by serious business money. The conventional wisdom was that Vegas was a novelty, a place people visited once and never returned to with serious intention. Kerkorian looked at the same city and saw the future of American entertainment. He did not see gambling, he saw hospitality. He saw the convergence of travel, luxury, spectacle, and human desire for escape, all concentrated in one place, in a desert, with no competition for hundreds of miles in any direction. He began buying land on the Las Vegas Strip, not casinos, land. The land that the casinos would eventually need to expand. He bought it quietly, in pieces, through different entities, before anyone realized what was accumulating. Then he built the International Hotel, at the time, the largest hotel in the world. 26 floors, 1,512 rooms, a showroom that seated 2,000 people where he booked an unknown performer for a comeback concert, that would become one of the most famous residencies in entertainment history. The performer was Elvis Presley. The hotel sold out for months. The model was proven. Kerkorian sold the property at a profit that made his airline sale look small and used the proceeds to do something that stunned the American business world. He bought Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, MGM, the most iconic film studio in Hollywood history. The MGM acquisition was not about movies. This is the part that most people miss entirely when they study Kerkorian's career. He was not a film enthusiast. He was not trying to become a Hollywood mogul. He bought MGM for one asset: the brand, the lion, the letters. The century of cultural authority embedded in three initials that every person in the Western world recognized instantly. He used that brand to launch MGM Grand Hotels, a luxury hospitality concept built entirely on the borrowed prestige of a film studio. The first MGM Grand Hotel opened in Las Vegas in 1973. It was, again, the largest hotel in the world. 5,000 rooms. A casino so large it required its own zip code. Kerkorian had now used one asset to acquire another. Used that acquisition to build a brand. Used that brand to build an empire in a completely different industry. Each move funded by the previous one. Each move larger than the last. He was not lucky. He was not a genius in the conventional sense. He was something rarer and more useful. A man who understood that capital is not a destination. It is a tool. And the only question that matters is what you build with it next. By the time Kirk Kerkorian died in 2015, at the age of 98, his net worth was estimated at $18 billion. He had given away more than $1 billion to Armenian causes. Quietly, without press releases, without naming buildings after himself. He never wrote a book. He never gave a TED Talk. He never explained his method to anyone. He simply kept moving, kept building, kept betting on his own ability to see what others had not seen yet. There is a pattern inside this story that has nothing to do with Las Vegas or Hollywood or airlines. The pattern is this. Kirk Kerkorian never confused the vehicle with the destination. Most people, when they find something that works, stay inside it. They become the thing they built. They identify with the industry, the product, the method, until they cannot imagine operating outside of it. And when that industry changes, or the opportunity disappears, they have nothing left to transfer. Kerkorian treated every business he built as a temporary vehicle. He mastered it. He extracted value from it. He sold it at the right moment. And he used that value to enter a completely different arena with a completely different set of rules, and won there too. This is what the wealthiest builders in history have always understood. Carnegie started in telegraphs and ended in steel. Rockefeller started in commodities and ended in finance. Kerkorian started in flight lessons and ended in luxury hotels. The industry is never the point. The capital, the judgment, and the willingness to move, those are the point. The $500 bet was never really about money. It was about the decision to treat life as a sequence of games, each one teaching you the skills you need to win the next one. Most people play one game their entire lives and wonder why the returns diminish. Kerkorian played 4, and each one paid for the next. If this story changed how you think about the moves in front of you, subscribe. Not for this channel, because the next video in this series will show you a different kind of builder. A man who was handed the most beloved brand in the world, nearly destroyed it completely, and then rebuilt it into something worth 10 times what it was before he arrived. The rules of wealth have never changed. Only the arenas change. Stay silent, build quietly, and own everything you touch.